Williams comes back in. It's a 1-and-1 with 20 seconds left. Remember, Michigan won the first game this season by 1 on a last-second putback by Rose. Now, let's watch. Long, a 2 to tie. Michigan will have to bring it.
Oh, he walked and the referee missed it.
Weber brings it into the front court. They have no timeouts remaining.
Oh, he causes too many timeouts. That's a technical foul.
He called a timeout. Michigan doesn't have any.
He got by with a walk, and Jimmy calls a he calls a timeout. He doesn't realize that's Michigan's too many, and so it'll be a technical foul. North Carolina shooting and the ball. A huge mental mistake. Steve Fisher calls his team back.
You know, at this, you hate to even harken back to '82, but there was a mistake, a mental mistake at the very same point of the game between Georgetown and North Carolina in 1982.
Absolutely correct. And everybody remembers Freddie Brown with the ball. Worthy really out of position on that particular play. Brown threw it to what he thought was a teammate out of the corner of his eye, and it was James Worthy.
Weber thought they had a timeout in their pocket. They did not. Thus, it's a technical foul against the Wolverines. North Carolina will shoot 2 plus have possession.
Correct. You'll see the walk, however. The referee had his back turned here. Doesn't see the play, but Weber walks on this one. Boom, boom, there's the walk. Now here he calls the timeout because he realizes he's in trouble. It's down to 11 seconds. And you can see the exasperated look on the sidelines of the Michigan.
Disbelief.
Yep. And it'll be Donald Williams going into the line, Jim. The young man who's had the hot hand throughout this tournament for this team, has been the real leader, primarily with his great three-point shooting. Now has an opportunity to do it on the line. And if you're Michigan, not much you can do about it right here. You just have to hope that he doesn't make it. And of course, if you're North Carolina and you're George Lynch, you said we want to win one more for Coach Smith. And that's the position they're in.
It is almost eerie how this is setting up to be such a similar scene to 1982, the other year that Dean Smith won a national championship. If he wins one tonight, that'll be 2-2 in the Superdome.
Exactly, Jim. He is 5-0 in this building. Coming in here, has beaten Tulane twice, and then plus the win he had Saturday and the 2 wins to win the national crown. You know, they've named a dome after him already in North Carolina, the Dean Dome. Do you think there's any possibility that New Orleans may adopt him if Donald Williams is fortunate enough to hit these shots?
Yeah, you know, it's really the Smith Center, so this should be the Dean Dome if he wins tonight.
Maybe you call it the Smith Center when you don't live in North Carolina, but when you live in North Carolina, you call it the Dean Dome.
Not bad for a coach who had his first head coaching job in 1958 at Air Force as the golf coach. Went out to play a round of golf with an assistant football coach named Pepper Rogers, and was told by the AD, low man gets the head coaching job for the golf team. Smith won.
And in addition to going to being a great coach, he's the man responsible for the $32 million that was raised for that Dean Dome.
Now look, 2-point differential, and since they'll get possession and Michigan can't stop it, he makes 2, this game will be over.
And Jen, the other thing that's interesting, we talked about foul problems. It turned out not enough fouls were the problem for Michigan.
Four-point difference. North Carolina with 11 seconds to go, and they have the basketball.
There's a young man who's been a great shooter, but he opted not to come over for shooting practice on Saturday, rather had his meal. There's the offensive move.
Got to foul him.
But he said he'd rather eat his meal than come over and shoot. It certainly hasn't affected his play. Matter of fact, the young man is I guess, broke a record here for three-point shooting in a Final Four. Huh?
He has made 10 out of 14 in the 2 games, Donald Williams. And how about Chris Webber? Well, what must be running through that young man's mind right now? Palinka in. Even if Michigan, should Carolina miss free throws and Michigan score at the other end, Carolina doesn't even have to inbound it.
The object is don't even touch the ball. Michigan cannot stop the game, and so basically the game is over.
Ray Jackson has fouled out with 6 points. But what about Webber?
Well, you know what he's thinking about. He's such a cerebral young man, has handled himself so well in the press conference. He's been absolutely fantastic with his knowledge of the game and the way he answers things. But maybe in the rush of the moment, Jim, going down there trying to beat 2 men, realizing it was 11 seconds on the clock, he just blanked out in regard to the fouls.
Dean Smith 8 seconds away from a 2nd national championship. The Fab Five comes up short again. There you have it. North Carolina is the 1993 national champion.